Bucks fans, I'm back with another episode of the Cranbrook Bucks Insider. Joining me this time is the president owner of the Cranbrook Bucks, Nathan Lieuwen. Nathan, thank you for taking the time. I know off season's just as busy as on season, but appreciate you taking time of your day.
Yeah, happy to do it.
So with that, obviously into off season now, we're a few months removed from the playoffs at this point. Just how has the last few months been? I know we haven't linked up too much over that time, but yeah, busy as always.
Yeah, it's been a surprisingly busy kind of spring and entry into summer here for us. Lots of exciting things and change and staffing and recruiting for us to do here, all the things that we do in the background to make these things go. But it's gone really well for us.
And just, we've started to kind of roll out some of the player announcements. I know that's Ryan's really on top of all those things, but I'm sure you have a little bit of a scoop on some of the guys coming in. Just how you feel about the crop of new recruits, before getting to see them in action.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's a bit of a different feeling than last year, obviously, with the number of players we have coming back. So few last year and so many this year. The recruiting is definitely different, but just as excited as any player with the guys we have coming in. I think they'll make a nice addition to what we're doing here.
And looking ahead to next year's roster as well, kind of really is a new era for this team. For the first time, you're going to ice a roster without anybody who was there for the initial pod season. So really that first cycle of players, has moved on, and we're kind of into a new era of the Cranbrook Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Ryan, has spent a lot of time, obviously, with that first crop. And, it's funny because last year felt very akin to that very first year, where there was just so many new faces. Last year, same thing, so many new faces, kind of trying to imprint our culture and the way we do things here on those players. And it felt like we really did that. And I think you started to see that, down the stretch in the playoffs. So exciting to see kind of how that, shakes out for next season. And if we can kind of, if our next 2 years are anything like the 2 years we had after the pod season, then I'd say that's a great thing.
And you mentioned it too, last year, just a lot of learning experiences with a largely new group, many of whom are going to be back next year, a year faster, a year larger, a year more experienced. Just what's your take on what you saw last year from the Bucks, and just some of the progress that you saw, in the wake of some of these learning experiences? And let's face it, peaks and valleys.
Oh yeah, peaks and definitely valleys. You're absolutely right. It's funny because when players come to our league and our team specifically, there's so many different aspects to learn. Some of them haven't maybe been in a junior environment before. You're at the rink every day. There's travel involved, so there's that to learn. Maybe some of these guys are new with billets. Maybe they're learning that side of things. They're learning about our league, how good it is, how strong people are, how limited you are for time and space. And then on top of that is what I talked about before. They're also learning our culture and how we do things here and the expectations and the standards that we have as an organization. So it can be quite a jump for guys. And when you don't have, a large crop of people that have been here to guide them, it can definitely make it trickier, which is exactly what I think you saw through, the first half of the season last year, where, we definitely had some leaders that have been here, but at the same time, a lot of people that were still finding their way. And even the guys that had returned, they were finding out what their role was in the team. It's one thing to come into junior hockey as a first year, and, everything's kind of new. You're doing it for the first time, but then year two, expectations roll in. And what's your role, what's your job out there every night, and you're expected to do it, and so that changes things too. So I think you saw all of these dynamics that I'm talking about kind of come to fruition throughout that season, and then obviously, I thought down the stretch we were starting to play some good hockey, and in the playoffs you started to see some flashes and moments of what this team can be and can do. So That's probably a fair synopsis of kind of what was going on, whether it was in the foreground for fans or in the background for us. That's what was going on.
And again, a lot of players from last year that are coming back. So we're going to have obviously a new crop of leaders coming through this core that's going to be with the team for the next few years. It's got to be exciting too. We talked a lot about that heading into the end of the playoffs, just knowing what is going to be on the ice next season, and just with that experience and being able to kind of lead, these new recruits coming in, kind of, same what we saw last year, but just I think more, returning bodies, which will be a benefit, obviously.
Yeah, I think we've done really well here with players that are kind of homegrown. Not necessarily players that come in ready to be the best player. You definitely need some of those for sure, but it's a balance, right? You also need players that we grow and develop, and we believe strongly in our ability to develop players and round them out and get them ready for college, and so that translates into good players for us. So we're going to keep doing that and keep growing the talent that we have, and I think good things will happen.
With the core that we have coming back, and obviously kind of a new set of opponents, really kind of a blank slate for this team in terms of potential. So really kind of a lot of uncertainties heading into the next season, but that's got to be kind of fun to see how it's going to play out, and see how the adaptations are made.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be different teams to play, a whole new division for us to be a part of. I'm excited for our players. I'm excited for our fans. We're excited to see new people through our building. But you're right, it's a bit of an unknown. How are they going to stack up? I mean, obviously there's some pretty good franchises that are coming over and that are going to be able to compete. But it's like you say, you don't really know till the skates hit the ice. So a lot of excitement around it. I think it'll be great for us in particular here in Cranbrook, for our travel, for our fans. But yeah, I'm excited to see what that looks like.
And you know what? Just looking back to the last two players that were with that pod season, Jared Smith and Jaden Vodchuk, who have both since moved on. Just a little bit about those guys and who you'd like to see kind of step up to replace them in terms of that locker room presence.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, both Jared and Jaden, I have so much time for them as people and them as players. I mean, Jared was, from the moment he got here as a 16-year-old, was so mature and is such a good person and played such a responsible game. And he grew and developed, and excited to see him move on. And then for Jaden, even just the way he made our team, just by being willing to do whatever it takes. I mean, he worked so hard, and he was the heart and soul of our team. And no better person to score the OT winner there in Game 6, and that'll be an iconic goal here for some time. I really hope. But yeah, as far as filling those shoes, it's going to be interesting. And like I said before, both of those players were kind of, like I said before, they're kind of homegrown, right? They came here, they developed here, they got better, and became a big part of our team. And that's really what we want to see replace that, is players that have been here, understand our expectations, understand the way that we do things, and fill that void, and understand what that leadership means. It's not always saying something. It's the example in practice. It's your work ethic. It's that Monday practice that no one, that everyone's tired from the last road trip and it's hard to get up for. It's showing up for that, right? Those are the things that those guys did, and so excited to see who can step up and fill that void.
And also new bodies coming in on the bench too, with obviously a new coach for KHA who will be helping out with the Bucks as well as an assistant, Kelvin. Am I getting the last name right? Ketch?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be easy to remember. So he'll be having a huge role with the Kootenay Hockey Academy, which just broke ground last year, made some great strides as well toward the end of the season. So we'll be seeing, I guess, some of those players too in training camp and exhibitions. So some grassroots guys coming up too, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, first I'll touch on Calvin. I mean, we're so fortunate to get him. A guy that was, coach of the year in the MJHL just a few years back, and really excited to have him here in the East Kootenays and running a program that is really important to us. And like you say, we want to make sure that we grow local talent, and we'd love nothing more than to see kids from this area playing for both KHA and the Bucks. And you're right, this is kind of that bridge, and we're excited to see what kind of talent can come up from there and support us when we need it, whether it's through APs and training camp and practices. We really want to see some good integration between the two teams this year, and yeah, give everybody the best opportunity to grow and learn.
And so I know he's quite excited to be coming in. Just we've been talking a little bit in the off season just about some of the player signings and things like that. So I guess how did he come on the radar, and what were the talks there like? I know it was a pretty sought after position.
Yeah, you know what? I might let him speak to some of the details, but overall, there was a connection through Ryan Wald, who happened to know him through some different things, and Calvin has worked with the coaches site before. And when we connected, I mean, he seemed to love the area, which was really big for him, and kind of wanted to get away from the high level junior coaching for a little bit, and KHA seemed like a great fit, especially considering he gets the added benefit of helping out with the Bucks and still staying in the high level stuff. So it seemed like a really good fit for him. Seemed like a really good fit for us, yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out.
And yeah, well, we're excited to definitely see Calvin take his reins behind the bench, and he'll of course be working with now a very veteran coaching staff for this group. Ryan has been with the team since day one. Colin's going to be back too. Roman Volpat, I believe, will be back as well. So it's got to be nice for you just to have that continuity just behind the bench and being able to kind of build that relationship over the years, especially with Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, he continues to grow and develop in his own career in his own ways. I think we've continued to learn a lot and learn kind of what works here, what doesn't work here, and he's done such a good job with the kids, and he's in the players in their development, our systems, the game plan. Like, we're always prepared. He does such a good job down there, and and the recruiting too. It's a big job. There's a lot that goes into what he does every day, and then like you say, to have the continuity of Colin coming back again, and someone that's familiar, and Ryan and him obviously work really well together, and then adding Calvin in the mix, in addition to what we already have with Roman. I think it's going to be a really good group. Some different viewpoints and the way people see the game, I think, is important. And I think that they'll once they get rolling, I think it'll be a good staff for this year.
And this year will be season number 5, the first kind of, I guess, mini milestone in terms of longevity for this franchise. Just in terms of from start to, well, not finish, start to now, just how happy are you with the way things have progressed? And I guess anything that you'd like to build on off the ice?
You know what? It's been quite a journey here over the past 5-6 years, and with this team. And I would say that what we've done is, and how we've grown and established ourselves, is right in line with what my expectations were for this club. Obviously, by now would have hoped to have a deep playoff run or two, but other than that, we've grown the game locally. We've run our hockey school. We've introduced the academy. We got the team bus. We've got some different things going on. We've grown the company. We've done what we can to be a big part of this community, and I think I'm really happy with how we've done that, and how we've become. I like to think a big part of this community, a reason for it to come together. And then, like you say, from a team standpoint, I'm proud of how we've established our own reputation in the world of hockey. It's a very positive reputation. People, when they hear about Cranbrook and Bucks, oh yeah, I hear they do a great job there. It's good to hear that, and have that established now versus what it was 3 years ago, which is, oh, yeah, you're that new expansion team. What are you guys all about, right? So it's like I said, between Ryan and myself and the whole staff here, whether it's the food and beverage stuff that we do here, like it's a big operation that we have here. Or even my wife Brianne, I think about what our family's kind of done to make this work, and having the kids here on on weekends and moving stuff around and working and painting dressing rooms or whatever we're doing. Brianne and I have kind of continued to do what we need to do to make it go. But like you say, when you take a 10,000-foot view and you look at what we've done here, I think we've taken a lot of good steps, and hopefully a few more good steps here to come.
And I know community's been a big focus for the team. We've seen that too with a lot of the initiatives that we take on during the season, Skate with the Bucks, Faith Night, the staples like your teddy bear toss, all those things together too. And it's always a fun night when we have those kind of themes going on at the rink, and any room for maybe more of that coming in the future.
Yeah, it's something we talked about for sure. We're excited to do kind of our first theme jerseys last year with the Pink the Rink jerseys. I thought those went off really well. It'd be great to kind of add to those, like you say, and have some bigger events around what we're doing. I think we've done a really good job with the New Year's Eve game. Excited to have that again this year. So yeah, just overall, we're like you say, we're trying to become a part of the community more and more. Our community programming expands every year with whether it's the reading program or, like you said, Skate with the Bucks is always a popular one, or, making sure we have that, a Sunday game so we can get kids out in the building. So, yeah, I'd say overall, it's like you say, community is a big part of what we want to do here. And I think that we're continuing to grow that side of it.
And back to the wider staff too. Just gotta give a little bit of a shout out here to Darren Fury, who I know is one of your favorite people in the world as well. But being able to have him on the broadcasts coming in last year to fill the shoes for Chris Keck, who was great in his own right. A terrific encyclopedia of the game. But the fun that me and Darren have been able to have in the broadcast booth has been just terrific. So just got to send out a big shout out to him and a big thank you for coaxing him to come into the booth.
Yeah, he's willing to do kind of whatever we needed on game nights and fill holes when volunteers, whether they don't show up or we're short staffed on certain areas, he's always willing to step in. I mean, he's been obviously a great person to have. And, I should also say, if I were to sit here and thank every person that has gone out of their way to help the Bucks, we'd be here for a long time. So,
definitely,
want to also recognize that there's just so many people that step up, whether it's whether it's with billeting, whether it's with, whatever topic, there's people that step up and help us, and they're really what make this thing go. So, billets is a big one, and, always looking for more of those.
So last season for the BCHL, kind of a historic one, their first as an independent league. I know it's going to be a few seasons before we see the full realization of what that change from breaking off from Hockey Canada really means. But just how are things going with this new initiative after one season?
Yeah, I'm really happy with last season. I thought the parity in the league was a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the level of play took a step last year from years past, and it was just nice to control our own destiny for a few things, whether it's making our rules, roster rules, recruiting rules. I think that was good, and now you can kind of see we're starting to build a bit of an ecosystem around us in independent hockey, and I think it's been something that's been a very positive thing for our league and a positive things for our fans.
So we're a few weeks away from training camp now. I guess it's a little bit early, I'm sure, again, we still haven't seen the guys on the ice, but any kind of goals or, I guess, reaches that you've kind of communicated to coaching staff for 2024-25?
Yeah, we haven't quite, finalized all those meetings, and discuss exactly what that looks like. But I think the biggest thing I would say is we're really excited for a competitive training camp. I know that last year's training camp felt more competitive than years past. And one of our big goals for this year is to make sure it's competitive again. Make sure that, I would love to see a player come in and earn a job and just be that guy that's this nonstop working. And, that's the culture we want to create right from day one of training camp. So I'd say that right away is that's a big focus of ours.
And who do we have kind of a small list of names that might be familiar to fans from last year that we can expect to see at camp?
Oh, that's a great question, and I would defer it to Ryan. But obviously, like I said before, there's so many guys coming back that we're excited about, and plus the new recruits that we've been able to release so far, and it should be a competitive group.
So again, still a few weeks to go to camp. What's kind of the main focus for you over these next couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm just kind of stepping into a season where I'm a little bit slower, which is great. Still a little bit of support to give to some staff and whatnot.
And just got news too that the BCHL showcase will be actually heading back to your old stomping grounds in Abbotsford this season with the Canucks being involved. Can you tell me what that's going to kind of look like?
Yeah, I mean, we're just so excited to partner with the Canucks and to see the NHL kind of noticing what the BCHL is doing, especially, like you said before, as an independent league and continuing to be recognized as a big part of the hockey ecosystem is great. I think the showcase kind of being there is great for our players, great for their exposure. I mean, that's again a big reason why we do the showcase is to get these players as much exposure to scouts, and whether they're NHL or NCAA, getting them as much as we can, and obviously having the Canucks involved just makes that even stronger.
So 2024-25, Cranbrook's 5th season in the BCHL. Just weeks away. Your anticipation level, it's got to be starting to build up. I know there's that kind of lull after the playoffs hit, but I know for me personally, I'm starting to kind of get that itch to get back to it. I'm sure you're probably itching a little bit more than most.
Yeah, it's funny because as soon as we get through July and into August, like you're exactly right. You start to thinking about it. You start dreaming about what that next season could be like, and how good your team can be. And you think about, hey, wouldn't it be great to win this or that, or go on a long run? So yeah, that anticipation starts to build, and it's exciting.
Well, Nathan, we'll start to wind it down a little bit, but before we get the tape cut, any messages that you want to send out to the Cranbrook Bucks fans that will be watching today?
No, I'm excited to have you back in the arena come September, and we're looking forward to a fun-filled winning season.
Perfect. There it is from the owner and the president of the Cranbrook Bucks, Nathan Lieuwen. Nathan, thank you as always for taking your time. Very much appreciated. And guess we'll be a little bit more face-to-face at the rink in just a couple of weeks.
Sounds great. Thanks, Wylie.
Nathan Lieuwen, Cranbrook Bucks.